That moment of motivation. We shift gears to looking at what the papers detail this morning, and then shortly we'll be having the gentlemen that join us for the conversation. It's so much that is playing out in the country in the process of making sure that we get it well politically and policy-wise in relation to every sector, but largely the economy. So much is being done in the country and also in the president's best interest, perhaps sees the importance of him making sure that he's able to consolidate power to that space where it works for him. As they would always say, it is always the interest of every sitting president to have every other legislature, to have every other person in government and outside government, speaking his tone. So this is what we'll be looking at this morning. Could that be what it is that the president is playing with this conversation of the former CS for Interior, that is Fred Matiang'i? We'll be looking at that as we also get the view of the gentlemen that joined me for the conversation. I hope that you will as well be part of it. The hashtag is Morning Cafe at Linda_Lela TV47KE across all our social media platforms, and 22047 is the SMS shortcode. I'll be sampling some of your comments as we continue with the broadcast. Also later on, we're getting to talk matters health. It's very, very important that we also discuss just how best we can take care of our well-being. Health is the greatest wealth, so incumbent upon us to also understand details of specific conditions, how we manage them and how we avoid. That is what is important. We have the dailies, the Daily Nation, the Standard newspaper, as well as the People Daily, and these ones will be guiding us this morning, also alongside the stories that I will pick from my team. The Daily Nation this morning speaks to the deal that saved Matiang'i. Is it a deal? Is it not? Is it a question of consolidation? Is what we'll be talking about. Meeting sought to quell tension in Gusii land, and that 4 days after meeting between three members of parliament, President William Ruto brokered a ceasefire. The Directorate of Public Prosecutions yesterday declared the former Cabinet Secretary a free man, saying he had no case to answer. That as captured on the front page and expounded on page 6 and 7. Just what would be the Kenya Kwanza government playing, or what game would they be playing, even as we await that grant moment as declared by the Azimio team in relation to pushing the government to address the key irreducible minimums for the sake of Kenyans, as they would say. It is about the cost of living. It is about the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission and a couple of other issues that they think it will be necessary for the Kenya Kwanza government to address, at least at this very early stage. Some there were promises that were made by the government, but then again, upon getting into power, they realize that that comes with a lot of difficulties, and perhaps they might need some extra time so that they get things in order. New KPA boss pledges to put workers first, that having been a port employee for more than about 31 years, Mr. William Ruto says he understands the concerns of the more than 7,000 dock workers. And this very full story is captured on page 12, an appointment that has gotten many speaking, perhaps, aligning this to the question of tribe. But as also, specialists will tell you, this is a person of merit, and therefore he should be accorded the chance to run this entity. As the new senators plot to paralyze business, and the leaders who have been boycotting plenary sittings for the last 3 weeks have maintained that they will continue disrupting the House business, which resumes today. This is a story captured on page 6. We'll be having our political reporters, Elizabeth Mutuko or Apollo Kamau, following up on the same to give us updates as to what will play out at the level of the Senate. Sitting on wealth, survey shows 970 millions across the country. Minerals, that is. Kenya is literally sitting on immense underground wealth of some 970 million or minerals, which have been classified as potential prospects for further exploration. But just like oil, which is considered the black oil, just how much will this then be of benefit to the common mwananchi? Will it cause us more trouble, or will it be a plus for us to be able to enjoy this? We are citing places like Kitui, and that is in Kitui County, Makindu, Makueni, and Tsavo, Taita, Taveta. That is where, copper lies. Manganese, we have Kilifi in Kilifi County. as well as Samburu County, the question of iron in Ikudha, Kitui County, and graphite, Kiambere, Embu County, Duruma, that is in Tana River County, Kanziku, in Kitui County, and Coltan, that is Corowells, Isiolo County, Kiritir, Embu County, Homa Bay, that is in Homa Bay County, West Pokot, Telot, West Pokot County, as well as Tinderet, Nandi County, and Buru, Kericho County. What will it take for us to tap into this great potential and these minerals for purposes of making the country better? A question of wait and see. Away from it, we have other stories that have been captured on this very paper. Near tragedy, she choked on her engagement ring. The plan between the woman's mother and her boyfriend was to hide the engagement ring in Jessica's plate of pilau, and they did, only for her to swallow the ring. That's quite unfortunate. Quite unfortunate. Away from it, a couple of other stories on the back page of the Daily Nation. Kenya Power conceals breakdown of power bills as prices surge to about 10%, and consumers will now have to dial a short code to receive the details of their bills. Hydropower production dropped from around 184 million units in January to around 12 million units in February, according to EPRA. Just what informs the shortfall and hydropower production drops. We'll be looking at it. We're looking at about 72 million, that is rate of drop. And so we follow up, to get to know how best this can be managed for purposes of the people of Kenya who continue to complain and grapple with the high cost of living. The Standard newspaper, front page of the Standard newspaper, Pope open to priests getting married. Interesting piece, a story captured on page 3 that has been captured right there. He says, well, whether or not they are married, that should not be what is the determinant factor to many getting themselves to Christ. And therefore, this is probably a conversation that is going to open a Pandora's box, and we'll be following keenly to get the reactions of the many that as well would align to this, and those ones that would want to criticize the same. Matiang'i case, the intrigues, battle of supremacy, as the DPP was arriving at the conclusion that is to drop the charges against former Interior CS. A flurry of meetings were taking place to manage Gusii politics, as captured on page 4. And as Anthony Kibagendi, Kitutu Churches South Member of Parliament, would say, we will embrace Matiang'i. I attended the Thursday State House meeting and told the president that we need exactly that. I am strongly in ODM and will remain objective. It will be interesting to watch President William Ruto right there, and DPP Nordin Haji as well, perhaps at the heart of this Matiang'i saga. And fertilizer cost higher than promised, a story captured on page 20, and that is why most of the Kenyans then will say, or most of the farmers will say, that they've been duped. Some arguing it's pretty much expensive, perhaps they've not been lucky enough to experience the subsidized rate, and others saying that in as much as they have experienced or they have gotten this fertilizer, it is not the best quality for their yields. And so we'll be as well following up on that. We'll be having one of the members of parliament who is equally a former member of parliament of Lugari to as well articulate to this matter. This as families flee bandit areas as LSK slums move. This is a story captured on page 8. And remember, yesterday was the deadline, that is a Monday, that was declared by the Interior CS to see to it that some of these people are able to be out of their homes so that they can work on rooting out these hiding areas for the bandits. The budget, on the other hand, and why Article 223 is a hot potato. The law was put in place to check executive excesses, but then again, a look at how it has been used shows that members of parliament have allowed illegalities. But just what informs this equally is one of the questions that we'll ask the legislatures that we're having this morning. Tharaka Nithi Senator who will be joining us, Member of Parliament of Lugari, as well as the Member of Parliament of Embakasi North. So shortly, we will be getting to that. Briefly on what is detailed on the People Daily, the front page of the People Daily. Let's see. Yes, the front page of the People Daily. Uncle Moody Awori says, let's stop politicking and he tells the leaders to serve Kenyans. Former Vice President Mix Vinglide veiled, that is criticism of opposition, asks its leaders to work with government. A story captured on page 8 will be following up as well as we speak on this. Conversation of Matiang'i equally finds its way on all the papers this morning as the big story. How night talks saved Matiang'i. So they say the Director of Public Prosecutions found the evidence provided was not sufficient to sustain the above charges against Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i and his advocates. And so it is off the hook. That's a question that we're asking. Former powerful Interior CS will not be standing in the dock to face conspiracy charges. After all, the leaders from Gusii, led by Education CS, that is Machogu, intervened on his behalf ahead of President Ruto's tour of the region. Interesting times in politics, and we'll certainly be speaking to that. And those are the key stories, I think, as we have seen here. On the other side, police under probe over the killing of 2 suspects as IPOA warns of tough action over Muranga's death. Also a developing story we'll be here to update you on. And on the other side, tea earnings hit up to about 138 billion. A story captured on page 15 of the People Daily. And improved prices and weakening shilling helps farmers to grow incomes despite drop in production that is due to prolonged drought. We'll be looking at that and we see whether the sector then will be saved or they will manage it as we continue. And big night for film as Oscar top winners are celebrated. This is captured on page 3. Interesting times on this global space. Filmmakers' big night as Oscar winners are unveiled and the most outstanding films and filmmakers honored at 95th Academy Awards. We shelve this one. Let's briefly look at our stories. And Kenyans have every reason to smile. That is following the official launch of a new radio station in the country. Radio 47, owned by Cape Media Corporation, is a station that aims to air its programs in all 47 counties, as our reporter Ronnie Regan details.
Jubilant Kenya Ports Authority workers danced and sang as they welcomed the port's new managing director. At the handover ceremony, Captain William Ruto, radio entertainment in the country is experiencing a new awakening.
And Koroboros, Mwatate, tunasema Radio 47, hapa ndipo.
After conducting assessments involving stakeholders over a period of time.
Kuna mambo kadhaa. Ningetajia tu juu nitasema kwamba kuna pia aina ya matangazo tunayapeperusha. Hivi sasa sisi tunasema kwamba tumeingia kidijitalia, tumekumbatia technology inavyofaa. Naweza sema sisi ni mojawapo waanzilishi wa kupeperusha matangazo ama redio ya kitaifa ya Kiswahili pia kutumia video. Okay, we are among the first audio visual radio station ambayo tutakuwa tunapeperusha, unasikiliza ukitazama, okay, kwa Kiswahili. Na hapo pia tunajipigia upato ya kwamba tumebeba bendera hiyo na tutaendelea kuipeperusha. Na zaidi ya hapo pia ukiangalia tajiriba ya watangazaji ile tumeileta, kuna wale ambao wamebobea na kuna wale wanaobobea. Kwa hivyo kuna mchanganyiko maalum pale ambao utatupatia uwezo wa kuongelea na wale ambao wametuzoea na pia kuwezesha sisi kuwa able to recruit a new younger audience.
The idea of unique entertainment and programming has now been realized.
I'm a man of few words, but let me admit that today I'm very excited. This is a journey that we started like about 6-7 months ago, and today at least we can be able to witness reality. Being day one that we have been able to launch this radio, we can only be able to give thanks to God.
And the official launch of the new Radio 47 station has been received in a unique way.
Langu ni kuwakaribisha majirani wangu sasa. Kitaka kuniona niko tu upande huu wa kulia, AR Hospital. So ningependa kuwakaribisha officially to the neighborhood. Karibuni sana, mujisikie nyumbani.
The top management, led by Cape Media Limited Chief Executive Officer Ken Otwenyo and Geoffrey Mungo, the head of Radio 47 listeners have every reason to choose the station.
Siku ambapo tunataja hasa ni yepi ambayo wasikilizaji wetu watatarajia. Kwa hivyo ni mwendelezo tu, manake vipaji ni vikubwa zaidi na tuna kikosi ambacho bila shaka ni kikubwa zaidi kuwahi kuzinduliwa hapa nchini Kenya. Na mbali na hayo pia ni redio ya kwanza ya Kiswahili ya picha na sauti, nikimaanisha audio visual. Kwa hivyo ni uzinduzi ambao ni mwendelezo wa mumo kwa mumo. Kwa hivyo si uzinduzi wa kwanza. Kutakuwa na mapambano makubwa bila shaka, na ni kwamba tunakwenda kudhihirisha mwamko mpya katika tasnia ya utangazaji nchini Kenya, mwamko mpya katika kutangamana na wasikilizaji, mwamko mpya katika kuchanganua na kudadavua hoja mbalimbali, mwamko mpya pia katika masuala ya usomaji habari na yale yanayosomwa, na uchanganuzi na tahariri na burudani na miziki. Kwa hivyo ni mseto wa mambo mengi mazuri na makubwa.
The program manager Linda Oriaso also had this to say about Radio 47.
One, Radio 47 is here to change the game. We are here to win. The promise we are making to our listener is the best talent on air, superior product, and news that is not only comprehensive but credible news. Don't miss out. Welcome on board.
Additionally, the staff led by the football commentator and producer of Bahari ya Elimu, Ali Hassan Kauleni, commended this move.
Majini na ardhini. Taarifa nilizonazo, wajua washindani sasa hivi wanafanya nini? Ni waibie siri? Itamwendea afisa mkuu mtendaji. Msikilizaji, huyu ni Amope.
You know, when we began, we promised to make it bigger and better, and we are not going short of our words. You can be rest assured that you're in for a great shock. Great, yes, it should be a shocker, but then again, great at the same time. All the best to our new baby, that is TV 47. That is Radio 47. It can be quite a tongue twister. So here we are with a different story, and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions has rejected the charges against a former Interior Cabinet Secretary, that is Fred Matiang'i, stating that the evidence provided was insufficient to sustain the charges of alleged conspiracy to commit a felony and a publication of false information as recommended by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. The charges were contrary to Section 393 of the Penal Code and Section 23 of the Computer and Misuse and Cybercrime Crime Act, that is number 5 of 2018. William with that.
The Nurdin Haji-led Directorate of Public Prosecution has brought to a halt the high-octane drama between the Directorate of Criminal Investigations and the former Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i by closing a case that had recommended Matiang'i's prosecution. According to the DPP, the investigating officers did not provide enough evidence to justify the charges against Matiang'i. In response to a file forwarded to the ODPP for perusal and advice relating to allegations that Matiang'i had jointly conspired with another to publish in the media that he was invaded by a battalion of unidentified people from the security agencies, the DPP in a statement responded that there was no sufficient evidence to sustain charges against Matiang'i. The DPP stated that there was insufficient evidence to support charges against Matiang'i by stating that, and I quote, upon independent and thorough analysis of the evidence availed and a review of the statements of the witnesses, the Directorate of Public Prosecutions found that the evidence provided was not sufficient to sustain the above charges against Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i and his advocate, Mr. Dunstan Omari, end of quote. The ODPP further directed that the DCI close the inquiry file against Matiang'i. The DCI had recommended that the former CS be charged with the conspiracy to commit a felony contrary to Section 393 of the Penal Code and publication of false information contrary to Section 23 of the Computer and Misuse and Cybercrime Act No. 5 of 2018. On Tuesday last week, Matiang'i presented himself before the DCI at Mazingira House along Kiambu Road following summons to appear and shed more light on the alleged invasion at his current Nairobi home between the 8th and 9th of February this year. A stalemate ensued after the former Interior Cabinet Secretary is reported to have refused to record a statement and instead invoked the right to remain silent.
They were asking Dr. Matiang'i everything about his life, where he lives, what property he has, what farming he has, and other things. So when we realized that they were on a fishing expedition, our client invoked his right under Article 49 not to respond to those questions that were not relevant to the summons. And therefore that engagement took all of just 15 minutes.
Muige William, TV 47.
Now, the Kenya Internally Displaced Persons Organization has called on Azimio leaders to call off the planned countrywide protests and rallies, citing concerns that they could be potentially led to chaos and violence, as well as disrupt daily activities and cause economic turmoil. Chichi Josephine tells us more.
The planned rallies and protests by the opposition have been termed as untimely, unnecessary, unjustified, and could potentially lead to chaos and violence, resulting in loss of life, disruption of businesses, and interference with daily activities.
Kitu ambacho tunaomba sisi kama wadhiriwa katika nchi hii ambao ni victim wa 2007 and 8 post-election violence, tunaomba serikali ya kwanza, Kenya Kwanza, waweze kuhakikisha kuwa mambo hayo yanayoandamana na mambo ya mass action yasirete uharibifu katika nchi yetu, aidha ni uharibifu wa kisiasa ama uharibifu wa kiuchumi.
Sisi watoto wetu saizi ndio mwaka imerudi kama kawaida. Iliharibika wakati wa COVID. Watoto wetu wakachelewa shule. Lakini hawa watu ambao wanaandamana, watu hawa Azimio, Mungu awasaidie kwa sababu wanaturudisha mbali sana. Maana wakati huu ndio watoto wetu wamerudi shuleni.
However, they have implored Raila Odinga to see sense and call off the rallies and use alternative avenues like parliament or the courts to lodge their dissatisfaction.
Kwa sababu tunashangaa wakati Prime Minister wetu ambaye alikuwa former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga amesema kinagaubaga kuwa hajakubaliana na uchaguzi uliopita, kumaanisha kuwa watoto wetu wote katika taifa nzima wanafunzwa mafunzo mengine hivi kwamba hakuna siku kutakuwa na kukubali kuwa presidenti aliyoko katika mamlakani amekubalika katika taifa.
Azimio leader Raila Odinga had declared mass protests to push for electoral reforms, address the high cost of living, and challenge what he called dictatorial tactics by the current administration.
Wakenya utafanya maandamano. Nataka hapa Mombasa maandamano ifanyike kila mahali na maandamano ya amani.
However, the IDPs have accused the political elite of exploiting the poor for their own gain.
Sio shida wako nayo, hata sio haja ya maandamano wako nayo, ni kuharibu wanaharibu. Na hiyo maandamano ni ya bure juu mambo yote imepita na uchaguzi ukakuja tukachaguana na tulikuwa tumeomba Mungu atupe kiongozi yule anafaa na ndivyo Mungu alifanya.
Wakianza kulaumu serikali ambayo iko, wakisema ya kwamba kuna njaa na masufuria kwa barabara, hiyo sio suluhisho. Suluhisho ni Mungu anyeshe mvua ili tuweze kupata chakula.
Chichi Josephine, TV47.
Now, the captain, William Ruto, the new managing director of the Kenya Ports Authority, has promised to work closely with the authority's employees and stakeholders to develop the port to a world-class level. During the handover ceremony at the facility's headquarters, Ruto assured the employees that he would avoid any political pressures and focus on restoring the port's former glory. Zainab Mohammed with that.
Jubilant Kenya Ports Authority workers danced and sang as they welcomed the port's new managing director. At the handover ceremony, Captain William Ruto promised the employees that he would remain dedicated to developing the facility into an economic hub and a port.
Mimi najua mko na matarajio mengi sana. Najua kweli. Na mimi nataka kuhakikishia nyinyi, I will never let you down.
With over 20 years of marine experience, the new managing director emphasized that restoring the port to its former glory will require a collective effort from both the management and employees.
My rallying call is performance. Na nyinyi wote mnanijua. Wewe kama si mchapakazi, wewe ni adui yangu. Wewe kama ni mchapakazi, wewe ni rafiki yangu.
Further, he remained optimistic that he shall steer clear of political pressures at the port and instead focus on the work at hand. A section of area leaders from the coast have celebrated Ruto's appointment, saying he's a seasoned mariner who will bring on board a wealth of experience and passion.
Kwa nini tumepongeza? Kwa sababu Ruto amekuwa operations kwa miaka mingi katika KPA na amefanya kazi nzuri na ana tajiriba, na tuna imani kubwa kwamba katika uongozi wake yeye ataipeleka port pale mbele zaidi.
Bwana MD, sisi tunakuomba utakapokaa pale ofisini utuangalie sisi kina mama, utufungulie biashara, tuachane na mambo ya Kenya women. Hatulali, tunakuwa na stress, wengine wanapoteza maisha yao kwa sababu ya madeni makubwa ambayo hayawezi kulipika.
The appointment of Ruto as the managing director was announced by the CS for Roads, Transport and Public Works, Kipchumba Murkomen, 4 days ago. Prior to his new role, Ruto served as the general manager at Kisumu Ports Authority. Zainab Mohammed, T47.
Thank you, Zainab, for that. Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has stressed that the Kenya Kwanza government still has the strategies to make sure that they better the independence of police, of course, in the country by increasing funding in a bid to perform its duties without being coerced by anyone.
Are independent. Are you confirming now that the executive still has a hand in how the National Police Service operates?
Speaking during an interview with members of the press on Sunday, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said the government of Kenya under President William Ruto has put on stringent measures to better the police service, especially after transferring its budget from the office of the president.
The National Police Service is independent. We have given the Inspector General financial autonomy. He is now the accounting officer.
Okay.
He needs no direction from anybody on how to work. But the government also has policies. And the Inspector General of Police has been hired by President William Ruto. President William Ruto has a manifesto. He has a covenant with the people of Kenya.
In his inaugural speech in Kasarani Stadium last year, the head of state said he will designate the Inspector General as the National Police Service Accounting Officer in order to end its dependency from his office.
The Inspector General of Police is mandated to exercise independent command over the National Police Service. The service's operational autonomy, however, has been undermined by the continued financial dependence on the office of the president.
Gachagua said since the entrance of the Inspector General of Police, Japhet Koome, and Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki in the docket, the service has been in its best in a period of 6 months since the Kenya Kwanza government took charge.
Do not interfere with the way police carry out their operations, but there are certain policies that were a covenant between the people of Kenya and President William Ruto, and all those who have given jobs must adhere to those policies.
However, Gachagua said the government's decision to subsequently recall former Nakuru County Commandant Peter Mwanzo to Vigilant House was well thought out. Mwanzo supervised the eviction of 105 families from a parcel of land in Ronkai that they had illegally occupied. Bulldozers rode into Kiriko village in Solai early morning, flattering homes spread over the 434-acre piece of land on which the two land buying companies have been claiming since the 1970s.
As a signal had been issued when President William Ruto came to office by the Inspector General of Police, directing all police commanders in Kenya that there shall never be a night eviction. That is why we removed him. During the night, property belonging to those poor men was stolen. Women were raped. property was destroyed.
Gachagua stressed that the government of Kenya will not allow any police commandant to harass Kenyans through powers bestowed on them. Mike Kaguongo, TV 47, Nairobi.
Now, the LSK, that is Embu chapter, has raised alarm over probability of having not qualified members of staff, that is in government offices, following what they termed verification of documents by quacks squandering as advocates. Now, the LSK members in the company of DCI stormed the Kenya schools of government in Embu, where Embu County government officials were conducting a staff audit, that is in which the DCI officers in Embu arrested 2 ladies who were allegedly conducting the verification exercise on behalf of advocates who were not at the scene. Let us work on that story and then we'll be bringing it to you shortly. Apologies for the same. And Sharon Jep Koskei, that is Kigen, who drowned in the Georges River in Sydney, Australia, while swimming with friends on February 21st, has finally arrived in Kenya. Her brothers are currently making funeral arrangements for her. Amida Yakub has more details on this very story.
Sharon's body arrived in Eldoret just after 1 o'clock in the morning and was received by her family and friends who were overwhelmed with sadness. Sharon died just 2 days before starting her studies at Catholic University in North Sydney, where she had been awarded a scholarship. Her family and friends expressed their deep sadness and sorrow as they escorted her body to the mortuary in Eldoret.
Last year tulipata ripoti ya kwamba anataka kwenda Australia. Hakika tulingishikana mkono kama mandugu na madada tuwezeshe Sharon aende Australia.
Siku meet Sharon tukiwa Australia because alikuja just 3 months. So hiyo time yenye tulikuwa tukutana naye Judy akiniambia tutafutie kazi, ndio wakati nilikuwa ninakuja. I just came a week and that Tuesday nikaambiwa hiyo maneno imefanyika.
The 28-year-old had only been in Australia for 3 months before the tragic incident occurred during a walk with her friends. Her family has praised her as a talented young woman with a good heart who was loved by many in the community.
Sharon was someone I believe ameweza kuleta watu in community in terms of when this incident happens, a lot of people came to say pole. Huko each and every day, community mzima ya Australia, at least about 1,000 people came to say sorry.
Amida Yakub, TV 47.
Now, a cluster of groups championing for children's rights in Kilifi have held a march from the Mutwapa police station in a move to enlighten the young girls on the rights and how to engage the authority if faced with cyberbullying under the banner My Voice Matters. This comes barely a week when the world celebrated the International Women's Day, set to promote innovation and technology for gender equality. The activists also noted that social media plays a critical role in shaping their social values in the society, further calling upon parents to ensure that children use the internet for the right purpose.
Teknolojia imekuwa ikitumika vibaya kunyanyasa na pia kudhulumu wasichana na kina mama, lakini kama shirika tuko hapa ili kusaidia kupunguza na pia kumonitor baadhi ya yale mambo ambayo yamekuwa kitumika ama wasichana wamekuwa kidhulumiwa katika mitandao.
Uharibifu mwingi wa watoto si wa kiume si wa kike unaendea kwa mambo na internet. So kama shirika ama kama cluster yenye imekuja na hii My Voice Matters inaangazia na kuangalia watoto wengi wasipate hizi visa venye hizi dhulma ambazo zinatokana na internet.
Tuko katika police station hapa, wameweza kuinteract na polisi kwa sababu most of our girls hawana hiyo confidence. Mtu akipita na kando anaona pale police station nikiingia ni mahali risk, si mahali safe kwangu. So at least wameinteract na some of police officers na at least wamepata hiyo confidence ya kuwa wanaweza kwenda wakaripoti any case ambayo itakuwa imekuwa occurred.
All right, and from that very story, allow us to take a quick short break and loop in the gentlemen for the discussion.
Tonight, and of course, on to our first guest of the night, an amazing actress, an award-winning actress, one of the top influencers right now, a top brand ambassador, ladies and gentlemen, and a lady who I respected, of course. I'm proud to call her my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, just listening. Are you ready for something there?
Yes.
You ready, yeah?
Yes.
Give me something, yeah? Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Kate Kamau, aka Kate, actress. How much material
It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, I'm a lot.
Does it give like, is it like normal time to wear like 10 minutes?
Asha.
Ama like lazima uipangie.
Hii lazima shida ni kwenda kwa choo hiyo tu. Yeah.
But they come to think of it, madam new and madam of a jumpsuit. How do you guys go to the washroom? How do you guys deal with that
That's
whole
why
thing?
we go in pairs to the bathroom.
No, men, you'll never find men going to the washroom in pairs. Ati wewe Richie ni aje. Nasikia kusojo, hebu ndio I think ladies are so privileged. You guys can even call each other boom, babe, sweetheart. Imagine now me, I'm now calling Richie. Richie babe, ni aje. Unakamjobosa ngapi na saxophone?
But we are okay with that.
Never.
Yeah.
Kate, welcome on the show. You are our first guest ever. Piga makofi. Pia tuko na interior design round hii.
Hii ni Wajakoya ama
check relax. Usiseme na nguvu we. Nakada wana watch, nakada.
Ni sponsored.
Let me ask, have you ever tried?
No, what is that?
Eh?
No.
Haujawahi? Under by mistake.
But now I know it because of Wajakoya.
Oh really? So hujaipita kwa campaign ya Wajakoya by mistake ukaisikia? Have you ever tried drugs at any point?
Which one?
You're a clean,
I'm a
good
role
girl.
model.
Role model. Sawa kwa me. Listen, do we have enough role models in the industry anymore? Or because I've seen these days people do their own things. They mess up on social media. Then they come and say, listen, I was not born to be a role model. I'm living my own life. Do you think that is the correct way to handle it?
And I think what Akothe says, I did not choose to be a role model. It's my career that inspired you to give me that title. So you cannot give me the pressure to become a role model. That's how you feel. So that's how you interpret my brand. But I have to live my life. I'm not telling you to live the way I live. You understand? But I know I have a responsibility as a public figure to act in a certain way. But in the same breath, I have to live my life truthfully, being me. If it inspires you, yes.
Well and fine.
If it doesn't, good. Yes.
Let me ask, which is like the most weirdest story you've ever heard about you? Ile mpaka uko like guy. Todie.
Like I'm very mean, I'm a snob. I think I'm too friendly actually. I'm too friendly.
Me, I feel like you choose.
You're not
Kumbuka unaongea na best yako. Kumbuka you're talking to your friend.
That's the problem. But to huyo naweza mlenga nikimuona kama ananibo, right? But when to my fans, as in when I meet them on the street, I'm anywhere in public spaces, like I can't. Like, do you understand? Let me tell you why. Yes. Because I also have people I admire and I fangirl all the time. If I met Beyonce, you know,
I know you admire me, but sijai kulenga.
I'd be flattered if I did. I do. So that's the thought process that goes through my head. If I would act the same way, why would I snob someone? But also, I'm human. Maybe you caught me in a moment, niko kwa shopping. Nafanya shopping, niko nafuliza, haiendi through, na unatry kuniongelesha. I'm like, bro, wrong timing. I've had people come to me, my child is sick in hospital and you want us to take a selfie. I can't take a selfie.
And they make you feel like, you know, you owe it to us.
I'm like, nilimwona mpisha kanilenga. I was dying, bro.
What I mean, you already said mpisha.
My child was sick, you know. So we need the empathy, you know. We are human beings.
Na maboy, wanaume, like wana avocado, wana slide ndani ya DM.
I pay no mind.
So una block?
I don't even open.
Guy. So those guys who have been DMing Kate Actress, of course, on social media, just know she's never opened. So wewe wacha ku open up. Some of you mmekuwa hapo ni kama mko kung fu. Mna hi, hey. So you're doing karate inside. Let me ask you. You have been in the game for a while now.
That's how you know you're old. That's the kind way of telling you you're so old.
Can I call you veteran? Okay, veteran actress, veteran
legend.
Ayo kuna mtu ananiita legend juu alinikia tena ujemi nilianza kwa act na mzee Ojwang Vitimbi. So I'm a legendary doctor. I was like, please don't call me legendary. I'm still very young.
Yeah,
oh my God.
yeah, true.
I feel like a freedom fighter.
True, but it's true. I've been here for long.
You've been here for long.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first ever role?
Yeah, I've talked about it a million times.
Which one was that?
I was an extra on Mother-in-Law show. An extra, and when I meet on the dance, then I go home. But I overdanced until they kept me. I've told that story.
I don't know why I'm not shocked that you overdanced.
Can you act like an interviewer? So I overdanced and I was overpaid. And that's how I started getting
You overdanced, you got overpaid?
Yeah.
Then from there they had to retain you?
Yeah, now I started getting small roles, pole pole as a secretary, and then that's how I grew into Charlie's wife. Yeah, yeah. I've told it a million times, but I have to tell it for, you know, there are people who are not there.
Like for me,
yeah, just the other day my makeup artist was telling me, Jenna, she was like, you know, I admire you. Like when I was in class 4 and I was watching Mother, I was like, Class 4. Wait, Kate. Makeup artist will go are you class 4? anaongea tu niko like, okay, Mevusela.
Next to go brand ambassador wa NSSF ama. Akina kupenda, you know I love you.
I accept. I'm aging gracefully.
Guys,
I'm only 35.
35?
Yeah.
That was like class 4. What do you want to employ underage?
And my son is 16.
Your son is 16?
Wait,
16. Hold up. Guys, can you do the calculation? So Chris is 35 years. Your son is 16. You need difference here? 18.
19. Hauji mathematic.
Na mi hapo nilianguka pongulo kuangalia hiyo hata zake nidanganye. I am no hope of my family when it comes to maths. Let's understand it because you wished him a happy birthday as in 2 was it 2 days ago?
Yeah, he's on a 3rd. So it's like 3 days ago, 3-4 days ago, yeah.
14. So that was
back. Yes, Mr. Director, thank you so much for bringing us back. And here we are shifting gears to the conversation, the gentlemen on standby legislatures, and we get to discuss the activities that are playing out in the country. The 20th, we equally are waiting to see what plays out, but before then, we have to articulate some of these matters that are also happening here. Karibu sana, is it a question of consolidation or just politics at play when you see that the case of Matiang'i has been withdrawn? What could be informing this? What is likely to shape out of this? These are the questions that we'll be asking this morning alongside other matters that we address. It's my pleasure to once again welcome you. The hashtag is Morning Cafe at Linda_Lela TV 47KE. You get to interact with us as we sample some of your comments as we continue with the broadcast. And this morning I am delighted to host 3 gentlemen at the level of the Senate as well as the National Assembly. On my farthest left is Honorable Nabina Bwera, Member of Parliament of Lugari. Thank you so much for creating time, sir.
I'm privileged once more. Yeah.
Karibu.
And excited that I'm with my colleagues, especially my friend from Tharaka, the senator.
Right. And of course, the first question, I hope you all prepare, will be what you make of the 13th Parliament. And as you have said, Honorable Mwenda Gataya is here, the Senator, Tharaka Nithi County. Pale pa kumira, pale numbers mingi. Thank you so much for creating time for the first time.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you
We've
very
been
much.
looking forward to it.
Remind me your name?
Linda.
Oh, Linda, thank you very much. I'm happy. I'm here. Though this is my first time, I'm privileged. This is a very good indication that you really value our presentations.
Right.
And we are happy that we are going to make sure that we do what is necessary for the country and for our people.
Asante sana, karibu. Household name. I am told that he could be having shares, but those propaganda.
We are worried.
Wanasiasa ni wa propaganda tu sana. The Honourable Member of Parliament of Embakasi North, Honourable Jimmy Gakuya. Thank you so much, sir, as well for creating time.
Thank you, Rita.
Karibu sana. The 13th Parliament. Now that we have the representatives at this very point, Honourable Member of Parliament of Lugari.
Yes, I think from where I sit and Mheshimiwa Kakuya, we in the National Assembly things are taking shape.
Yeah.
been a bit busy period, especially that we've been looking at the supplementary, the BPS, and many issues, especially the challenges facing the country.
Yeah.
And you remember the first part of the 13th Parliament was to get the government in place,
Yeah.
Where we were involved in the vetting of cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, and other constitutional officers as required. Of course, it hasn't been an easy ride for us, especially from where I come from, the Azimio divide, because there was heavy raid into our home turf by the president.
Okay.
To reduce our numbers. We moved from being a majority to a minority. Interesting politics. Right.
Well, interesting politics. I don't know whether it was the president's doing that got them moving from being a majority to a minority. And it seems like the president is not going to stop at that. And of course, we'll be getting to this conversation of Matiang'i and the said meetings by the Kisii leaders and the negotiations that played out. Is it a question of consolidation? And is the president within his right to proceed and do some of these things for purposes of running the government as expected? The senator, we are expecting for you to be in the House today, and the reports are that the members of Azimio are still planning to paralyze the business at the level of the Senate. What do you make of the 13th Parliament and such activities that are here?
You know, my sister, this is 13th Parliament came into being immediately after transition, when we were giving in a new administration.
Yeah.
So there were number of disconnect, there were a number of things that were supposed to be put in place. And it has been quite hectic, maybe for the last 6 months, you know, and the vetting of the CSAs, with the vetting of the PSAs, the vetting of so many other institutions. And you know, definitely when you go into a new house, you just find a lot of challenges here and there. But I'm happy that the government has been on its top agenda, because we have been able to make sure that everything is in place. So as a Senate, we are up to the task. And I'm very sure I want to dispute what my brother, Honorable Navina, where I just said that the president was able to raid the Azimio strongholds.
Was he not?
You know, Kenya is a democratic country.
Yeah.
So people have the choices to make things on their own. So I don't think whether the president has any mandate or any power within the constitution to raid any zone or to raid any person or to coerce anybody for that matter. Because we have all the space in this country that somebody can associate, somebody can assemble, somebody can relate. So anybody who really wants to work with the government, you know, the spirit that we have as a country, it's to embrace everybody, to bring everybody on board who really want to work for the government. So there's nobody who has been coerced, nobody has been raided. So the issue is, His Excellency the President has been very categorical that we must make sure that we move together as a country and build this nation. You can see he has embraced everybody, all the regions that are, even those people who dismarry voted for him. So everybody is on board. So I don't think whether it's a matter of raiding or it's a matter of anything, it's a matter of making sure that we have that democratic space. Number two, you have asked me about the Azimio. One, I don't speak for Azimio. Maybe they have their own way of doing things, but I'm very sure there is no way Azimio can paralyze the sittings of the Senate or the National Assembly, because, you know, they are the minority. And of course, you know, majority, of course, has to win, and maybe minority have their way. So I don't think there is any space for them to paralyze any government business in both houses. Yes.
All right, Mheshimiwa, the 13th Parliament, before we get into the in-depth of what it is that we speak of at the Senate and across.
Thank you, Rita. Allow me to salute the viewers wherever they are watching us from. And coming to the 13th Parliament, let me say, the 13th Parliament had rode on well, and comparing to the 12th Parliament, I think this one I would say we are feeling, personally, I'm feeling a lot of a lot of breath, because I remember the Chok Parliament and the way we started. We started with a number of mountains, because we had the Maraga verdict, which took the country back to a presidential election, and after that, then we had a lot of crisis due to economic situation by then.
Yeah.
But I would say that, in fact, this particular, that in Parliament, it has allowed well, and battles in the House are not too many, and you realize there are a lot of changes, and especially in what we call party leaderships. Remembering that, in fact, today, in the fraternity, and especially in the National Assembly, we have at least some changes on the manner on which the third parliament was. We do in the last parliament, we have majority leader who was Aden Duale, and thereafter Duale, then we had Kemunya, who was at the Terued. Today we have a fresh team of Kimani Shongwa, and with the other side of minority, we have also a new team there, though we have people who are there, like Wandahi and others.
Yeah.
So I am seeing a complete different parliament, and a parliament which has a promising to work for Kenyans.
And indeed, that's what Kenyans want to hear.
And I can tell you, going by what the members are conducting themselves, I am very sure and certain that things are moving well, and the house is going to deliver. Yeah.
All right, Honorable Nabi Nabwere, the deal that saved Matiang'i. The papers this morning. Matiang'i, an Azimio person or an Azimio man?
Now, first, I'm not sure whether you know Matiang'i as an Azimio person, but I remember I spoke about this issue.
Yes.
My prediction has come to happen when I was here last. First, I don't think there was any case. I don't think there was any case.
Yes.
And I told you there's no case here.
Yeah.
And I told you this is political head herring, which was. But if there was a case, assuming there was, then we are on the wrong trajectory.
Okay.
That I can be a criminal, then we go and negotiate. My people from the village there, from Western Kenya, from Bungoma or Busia, they give themselves an opportunity to go and see the president and negotiate my being let off the hook. Then as a country, we are in trouble.
Okay.
There's no rule of law.
Okay.
If there was any case. But from where I sit, I knew from day one. And I told you when I was here, and I'm repeating it, that there was no case. It was political cajoling.
Why do you suppose then the Azimio team fell for this?
How?
They did.
That was individual decision. There was no any Azimio meeting. And I remember telling you.
Speaking to me.
Yes, and I told you when I was here, I, Nabi Nabwera, did not have any feeling for Matiang'i. I thought he overshot his ceiling when he was a cabinet minister.
Right.
I told you I was a victim of his misuse of power when there was a Matungu by-election. And he gave Malala, this Malala has been appointed, he gave him tools of government to terrorize everybody.
Okay.
So for me, from day one, I knew this is political head herring. Yeah.
And
I've been proven right.
Right.
Yes,
well, it's too early to call. Maybe we would say that. Mheshimiwa, before I come to you, he was here. He also spoke to this, a member of parliament of Embakasi North, and you equally said it's politics. But it looks like it's politics being crafted from your end.
Reader, one thing, let us all agree that actually none of us is living from a universe. We all live here, and we know how things works.
Yeah.
Issue to do with the Matiang'i are not new, because he's not the first person to arrive to for DPP to arrive to such a kind of decision, and I'm sure that in fact the DPP, as his powers are entrenched in the constitution, it is under his powers either to approve matter to proceed to court, and he has also capacity and powers to drop any case that he may think after he assess and evaluate that it has no ground to find its way or see its rights of the day. He has those powers to drop the case. So in this particular one, I would say if the DPP has gone through the file of Matiang'i and has come to a decision that actually the matter in praise is not a matter that can't stand in the court of law, then it is under his powers to drop such a case. And therefore, it is a matter like any other case, and personally, I cannot separate this matter from any other matters that actually we have seen there before, where the same DPP has also made some decision to drop them even when they were at the stages of the court level.
The issue at hand is not even the dropping of the case, but the allegations, or at least the declarations that there's been the involvement of the president on this. And we're talking about the same DPP who says at some point in time he was coerced, he was pushed, to raise cases against individuals by the very same Matiang'i at some point in time, and then when they come in as the Kenya Kwanza government, then he decides to withdraw a majority of these cases. What does it speak to the rule of law, as Honorable Nabi would say?
My sister, let me tell you something. Kenya is a country of rule of law.
Yeah.
We must accept that we have independent institutions. The DPP is an independent institution which does not take orders from anybody.
He did during the Jubilee government, from what he said.
We want to prosecute this case now. I really want to prosecute the constitution. Okay. Maybe somebody might have woken up unwell and sickly or something like that, or maybe under duress. But the issue is, as a country, we have institutions that are very independent. That does not take orders from anybody, from the presidency, from anybody. So we all agree as Kenyans that DPP is an independent institution.
Agency.
And Kenya is a country which is governed by the rule of the law. Matiang'i is a Kenyan who has all the rights, who has all the privileges, who has all anything that is contained in the constitution. So if the case against Matiang'i did not reach the threshold of prosecution, then the DPP had all the rights maybe to say that there is no evidence to prosecute Matiang'i. So let us not bring politics into Matiang'i's case. So that maybe the Gisis members of parliament went to State House and negotiated for his freedom and all these things. So let us not read politics in everything that we do as a country.
Are you saying that the media is sensationalizing this? Listen to this.
No, we must also, just a minute, Honorable Nabi, we must also be patriotic as Kenyans. We cannot just be too much into negative reporting. Every time that we see something, we must report negatively. Let us be objective as a country, as a journalist, as politicians, as anybody, as a Kenyan.
And this is based on the reports that we receive from the individuals that met the president. So we are saying 4 days after a meeting between 3 members of parliament and President William Ruto brokered a ceasefire, the Directorate of Public Prosecution.
There is. I'm very sure the Kisi members of parliament went to State House and all the rights, and they have quite a number of other issues that they might have discussed. Maybe I don't want to, because.
But also some of them have alluded to the fact that yes, this is one of the things that they spoke.
Nobody has those facts. Nobody would outrightly say that these people went there and negotiated for Matiang'i's freedom.
Honorable Nabi.
Yes.
These are just speculations.
Let's put things in perspective.
Mheshimiwa, we have the papers.
I serve in the committee of Public Accounts Committee.
Yes.
On Thursday last week, we were supposed to meet the office of the Director of Public Prosecution.
Yes.
That morning, he had written to us confirming he's coming. That morning, his deputy arrived with a letter. With a letter from him, and he said that was Oduor Dorcas, that it was actually our media people were there.
Yeah.
That the DPP cannot be here because he has been summoned to State
House.
Right?
A Thursday.
In fact, out of my own curiosity, let me just say,
Madam Brother, I don't want to preempt what my brother Nabi is just saying. Because
you said I allow you to speak. Allow me to.
Okay, to prosecute your case, and then we'll come back to him.
Democracy is such a Now, it turns out the same Thursday evening, my brother Kibagenti, my brother Osero, and my brother Manduku go to State House. The same Thursday. Fact. Then they say, as we went only to plead for our case, for our own brother. True to it, this is the letter from the public communication from the office of the DPP, and it reads, the second last paragraph. Upon independent and thorough analysis of the evidence availed and a review of the statement of the witnesses, the Director of Public Prosecutions found that the evidence provided was not sufficient to sustain the above charges against Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i and his advocate, Mr. Danson Omari. The evidence provided did not meet the ingredients needed to prove each of the aforementioned offenses as required by law. On Saturday,
yes,
the three members of parliament who have been there had indicated to the media that Matiang'i will not be charged. We have managed to speak to the head of state, right? And it's not going to work. That is not my problem, because for me, from day one, I told you there is no case in this matter. And I said this after speaking to one of the best lawyers I respect. He is never biased, Otienda Molo. He accompanied Matiang'i and he came and told me, forget about this. This is politics.
Brother, allow me to make some interjections.
Then,
allow me to make some
you will.
Let's give him 30 seconds and then come back to
my biggest problem in this whole matter, who is politicizing? We have not politicized. The way he wants to say. It is the government machinery that is politicizing.
Is there anything wrong with that?
We'll come back to that. It is true, my brother, that one director of public has admitted. In fact, I don't know why that man is still in office. Anybody who admits that I was coerced has no balls to hold a constitutional office.
As members of parliament, what is being done to address this? But let's allow him.
I don't want to preempt. I don't want to preempt.
Let me just tell you something, my sister brother. You know, Linda. My brother, Linda, my brother here has read a letter from the DPP. That letter does not at all say that Matiang'i's case was dropped because there was a meeting in the State House.
You understand politics. You don't expect for it to be.
Of course, no. In this case now, we have just stated in my earlier submissions
constitutional
that we have those independent institutions, bodies that are charged with the responsibility of carrying duties without any influence from any quarters. The DPP office is one of those offices. Any other politics that revolves around going to State House, talking to press and all these things is null and void. The issue is Matiang'i is a Kenyan, just like any other Kenyan. We have had so many other cases before where maybe the DCI has carried some investigations which does not meet the threshold, right? And those cases are normally dropped. Because the DPP is supposed to advise on the investigations. Because this is the person who is supposed to say whether this case hold water or not, so that maybe they can be taken to court for prosecution. So Matiang'i's case just a case just like any other. So let us not read a lot of politics. The government was able to influence. Matiang'i has gone to Kenya Kwanza and all these things. Matiang'i is just a Kenyan, just like any other.
If we overlook that aspect of the case.
Let's give it some benefit of doubt that Matiang'i is a Kenyan. He had all the rights to be served just like any other Kenyan, for that matter.
All right.
So my brother here, because you know the insinuation that they are trying to bring is that maybe there was some coercion from State House, maybe there was some political influence and so forth. But there is no evidence. You know, politicians can just say anything. You have just...
what do you mean there's no evidence?
Linda,
he has just spoken
just a minute.
No, No, I also sit in the committee on the public accounts.
Yes.
You know, by the fact that the DPP was not able to attend because he had been summoned or he has been invited to give some clarification on some issues.
Yeah.
Does not necessarily have to mean that there is gentleman to State House. Just a minute, my brother.
The letter, he says, indicated that he is not able to attend because he's been summoned to.
The letter, that is not the letter. He doesn't have that evidence. Only the person who was sent.
Linda.
The person who was sent just give it verbally.
No, we can't allow. By the way, you also know. Let's be sincere.
But
we don't allow anybody to come by word. You write a letter for you to allow a deputy to come. But let me say,
but the letter does not say the guy has been summoned.
Okay.
Linda,
does the letter say he was summoned?
Yes,
or not?
he was. He was. That was the.
Do you have
that?
Can you take that letter, Mashma?
If I'm asked to get, I can get it. But Linda, my point is this. To me, that is immaterial. You know, Linda, we are missing the case.
Yes.
Who invited politics in the office of the Director of Public Prosecution?
Himself. Yes.
Oh, my brother Senator. A man who stood in public media and said I was coerced. Yes. In so many cases he dropped. Am I the one inviting politics? And then he is seen to have gone to State House, and then he drops a case. Common sense, common analogy would be that, again he went for another coercion. It is the guy himself who invited politics into his office. Many of us, including me, I thought this man would act independent. But he has told us himself that put in a corner, he goes by the corner.
I don't want to prosecute verbal expressions. Because somebody can wake up when maybe he's not feeling well, he's under duress and all these things. And there are some funny ones in the streets. You could not be having some malaria, right?
Including Nyakango.
Including Nyakango, right? You know, in this case, my brother Nabi, let's be objective as Kenyans.
And that is our biggest fear. In objectivity, it would be proper for us to have
we have a lot of politics in everything that we do as a country.
Yes.
Right? Let us also have some bit of objectivity where we
Let's see whether Honorable Member of Parliament of Embakasi North will bring in some objectivity in some of these facts that are white and black.
Now, Rita, in this particular matter, everybody has a choice.
Yeah.
Either to choose to go the route that my good friend is taking, that political route, or to have more observed and also take it on the other way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, in this particular case, I would sum up by saying, it is his prerogative, the DPP, to decide where's the matter has a weight evidence to present it to court or not.
That is
at this particular point, I would say many has been assumed that actually there were things that were discussed at the State House. Me, I don't want also to preempt that, but that's a political route, and I don't want to take that particular route because I have no any single evidence over what those members discussed, because there are many issues that you could be step to State House and discuss with the head of state. Let me not go to that direction. That actually it has to be that the reason why the three members visited the State House was to discuss the matters to do with the Matiang'i.
All right. Also, is the president playing the politics?
Also at this juncture, let me also by the idea that the DPP failure to appear in the committee was purely to go to discuss Matiang'i matter. That one, I don't want to get into that trap. But my stand is that, in fact, our Kenya law is very clear that the DPP has powers to either drop or consider a case to be taken to court. So, and that is under his prerogative, and nothing short of that. Otherwise, I have been always repeating here, during the AG time, we have the non-prosecute, and those powers were vested there. Today, those powers are vested at the DPP, and he has those powers. Whether he declared on a day right that he was coerced by the former regime, that is himself. Whether he's fit to be in the office today or not, that to me, it is the right of Kenyans to decide whether the man is fit to be in the office or not. I don't want to engage there.
You are a representative of the people of Kenya,
Yes.
a constituency that serves you, or you serve them as member of parliament, a legislature for that very matter. And I think that's why I asked Honorable Nabi, what is parliament doing in relation to this? How can you say that it is the prerogative of the people of Kenya to decide whether then the DPP is fit to be in office or not, at a point where he declares that, this is an independent office, but at some point in time, I was coerced, I was under duress to take this direction, contrary to the laws of the land. Until what time will we wait for the Kenyans to speak to this, while members of parliament that we elected are not speaking to this, are actually saying that then we leave it for the Kenyans to decide?
Read first and foremost, we are a country of rule of law, and we are Democrats. And I would say that, in fact, the DPP was very okay, and at his own conscience, when he demonstrated that actually he was coerced. But to me, if he felt that actually he did something which was not light, it was under his conscience to resign. And I think that if that particular action never took place, then there is a procedure to go that. Any member or any public citizen can institute a petition toward that election, and then this house can be able to take its position on that particular matter. So nobody is being blocked by the law. The law is very clear. Either a Kenyan citizen or any member of the house can institute a petition.
In your capacity, do you think it's in order to still have this individual in office, the Nyakangos of today, who say in broad daylight that...
Madam Rita, let me assist my brother here.
Yes.
I want to top up his
argument.
I've been in parliament for the last 6 months. I don't remember any committee in the National Assembly, or any committee in the Senate, or any commission for that matter, or a tribunal for that matter, or anything related to constitutionalism that the DPP appeared. Right? So whatever you are saying about the DPP, saying it was coerced and all these things, is not in any answered. Right?
Mheshimiwa.
Right? No.
Okay.
We are prosecuting. We are prosecuting utterances. This is public utterances all over.
Okay.
Because your interest is to know what the National Assembly is doing, what the Senate is doing about the DPP.
Yeah.
In the Senate, we have no any record where the DPP stated that
has appeared before.
Yeah, he has not appeared before in the committee for that matter. We have the Jala committee. We have the committee on. We have all the committees. I have never seen DPP appear before us, so that maybe we can get some evidence.
So all matters that the Senate speaks to, and all the matters that the National Assembly speaks to, are matters
we cannot prosecute that pronouncement.
How gutter is this?
Let me say this, Linda.
We cannot prosecute in that pronouncement.
Will you prosecute? Nyakango?
Linda.
Somebody wakes
Nyakango's case?
Nyakango appeared before a committee.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in that case.
In that case, maybe we can go deep into that matter and get to know exactly the essence. And of course, there's a lot of interest surrounding Nyakango's statements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Linda, I think you will next time. Please don't invite me if we will lower the bar of the discussion, because it's lowering them.
They are in capacity.
Yes.
In their own capacity and wisdom. Proceed.
Because if we can come here as people's representative on a very serious matter of national importance, that a constitutional office holder called a press conference to explain why he was dropping major cases, and we come and say it is gutter, then I don't belong here.
Do you have a Jala committee in the National Assembly?
Just a minute. All serious issues that are canvassed publicly are not in the House. Please.
Not always.
Yes, they are not in the House. And we cannot say, because they are not in the House, then they do not need to be discussed nationally. That would be a moral irresponsibility from us leaders and from a country
So,
right?
I don't want
For
to interrupt
example,
Mheshimiwa.
I will tell you.
And we'll come to you, Senior.
All we are saying here, we have an issue at hand.
Yeah.
By the way, nobody has said the DPP does not have the legal mandate
to drop
the case,
yes,
or refuse to prosecute. Nobody has said that, and I can't say that. And from day one, I told you the case has no legs, it has no hands.
Yeah.
That case. So he's doing it right. But what we are saying is, in the context of doing it, a mistake has been committed.
Yeah.
Which is the mistake? Politicizing his own office. Period.
Does it then become a matter that is
to
that level?
You
And
know.
when you say that this is an independent office, and then the office is compromised and politicized, and is under duress,
Linda, let me tell you
how does
something.
it serve the people of
Let me
Kenya?
tell
How
you
does
so-
it serve us justice?
Let me tell you something, my sister Rida.
Yes.
My brother Nabi is a member of parliament. I don't know whether he's having a second or third term or first term.
First.
In National Assembly, we have all the relevant committees. We have even the individual resolve. Because the DPP went into the court press conference and confessed that he had been coerced and all these things. So as a member of parliament, I expect him to give you a petition that he has taken to parliament, maybe to get this person investigated.
He says we should wait.
Right?
Maybe something is in the making.
He should have petitioned. Maybe a private motion or through the committee on JLAC or any other relevant committee that matter that this person doesn't have any mandate to hold public office. Because he has politicized according to him.
Yes.
He doesn't even know of any other member of parliament for that matter who might have gone to that extent of making sure that we have, right? This person summoned or maybe investigated. For the last 6 months, I have not had even a single occasion where DPP has been summoned by either Senate or the National Assembly to answer into those allegations that his office is not independent.
Hence my
And
question
we have all
on
the
behalf of the Kenyans, what are the members of parliament doing in relation to
We
this?
are,
And
we
you've
are,
answered
no,
well.
the issue is not, we cannot just prosecute something that has been in the streets. Let's get something which is...
We still do maintain that that is an issue. That is not.
Yes,
that is not.
And you know, Madam Leader, I just told you before, when we on our status, we are supposed to be objective. Let's not be too much into negative, reporting negative, talking negative, and all these things as a country.
And so in objectivity and in your capacity as Senator for the people of Tharaka Nithi, you think this is, roadside declaration perhaps does not...
DPP...
and if you're going to start
DPP is an institution, very independent, does not take orders from anybody, even from state or from the president.
If you're going to trigger a conversation...
And this is why Matiang'i...
Controller of budget.
Controller of budget appeared before a committee. That's why she makes her confessions.
All right. We can only wait to see what then the members of parliament are going to do.
And I think the report is unanswered.
Yes.
But this other one is maybe somebody woke up with some funny feelings here and there.
Allow us to take a short break, gentlemen.
So, Linda, are we saying here we are today prosecuting? Is the senator saying we'll only prosecute issues that
about members of parliament? And I asked that, yes, and I said, what is the essence of representing the common mwananchi? At what point do you speak for the people as representatives after this break?
Ladies and gentlemen, karibuni sana. This is Dr. Frankie tonight. And of course, on to our first guest of the night. An amazing actress, an award-winning actress, one of the top influencers right now, a top brand ambassador, ladies and gentlemen, and a lady who I respect, and of course, I'm proud to call her my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, DJs listening, are you ready for something there?
Yes.
You ready, yeah?
Yes.
Give me something, yeah? Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Kate Kamau, a.k.a. Kate, actress. How much material
It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, I'm a lot.
Does it give like, is it like normal time to wear like 10 minutes? Ama like lazima uipangie.
Hii lazima shida ni kwenda kwa choo hiyo tu.
Yeah. But they come to think of it, madam you and madam of a jumpsuit. How do you guys go to the washroom? How do you guys deal with that whole thing?
That's why we go in pairs to the bathroom.
No, men, you'll never find men going to the washroom in pairs. Where Richie? Richie ni aje. Nasikia kusojo. Hebu tuishie. I think ladies are so privileged. You guys can even call each other boo, babe, sweetheart. Imagine now me I'm now calling Richie. Hey, Richie babe, ni aje. Unakamjobosa ngapi na saxophone?
But we are okay with that.
Never.
Yeah.
Kate, welcome on the show. You are our first guest ever. Piga makofi. Ndio nimetu mpya tuko na interior design round hii.
Nini Wajakoya ama?
Check relax. Usiseme na nguvu we. Nakada wana watch, nakada.
Ni sponsors.
Let me ask, have you ever tried?
No, what is that? No.
Haujawahi? Hata by mistake.
But now I know it because of Wajakoya.
Oh, really? So hujaipita kwa campaign ya Wajakoya by mistake ukaisikia? Have you ever tried drugs at any point?
Which one?
You're a clean,
I'm a role model.
Role model? Sawa, listen, do we have enough role models in the industry anymore? Or because I've seen this is people.
All right, in studio, Honorable Nabi Nabwera, Honorable Mwanagataya, as well as the Member of Parliament of Embakasi North, Jimmy Gakuya. Okay, fine. We overlook all the cases that we are talking about. We overlook that aspect of the DPP, and back to what it is that Nabi is concerned about, or was concerned about then, that got them to being a minority in the House. Just what game or what politics or what card has the president released on this one? And we have seen him trying to traverse the different parts of the country. Yes, he is president for every other Kenyan, but equally, just what game of politics is this that gets him, you know, consolidating quarters from across the country? Mheshimiwa.
Thank you, Rida. One thing I would like to state very categorically here is that every single elected president, either you are elected as the president, because there are those countries that does not have the president, they have the other systems, but the instrument of power that is elected by the people. Once you get to the power, and you are in power with 3 tiers of government that are now within our constitution, which is executive, legislature, and the judiciary. As a president, you must think how to handle, because there is no way you can be able to run a conducive government when you don't have numbers in 2 houses. Because one, you need the legislation, your bills to be passing, your motion to be passing, your budget to be passing. What a miracle do you expect to have in the floors of the house if you don't have numbers? Then you must use any mechanism to give you numbers in those support of the floor of the house. And therefore, whatever the president is doing, I don't want to say that he has been causing anybody, but those members of the 2 houses have their independent mind to decide which position for them to take. And let me tell you, once you are elected by the people, you are given power and delegated power to represent the public in that particular chamber of the houses. And therefore, those members, in their own mind, because one, I would want to be very clear that, in fact, they are in their sense always when they are making decisions. Nobody is out of the sense was making such a decision. They found it fit to work with the government. They're good for them. Probably one is that, in fact, they do assess what can I be, value do I have when I am opposing, or what value do I have, or what value my people do have when I am against the government.
Maybe
and therefore, that particular decision is individual. And therefore, that's why this is individual decision making. And nowhere I can start to say the president has forced anybody to be on his part. And but I can tell you, it is a democratic space for any member to decide which floor he can vote. Because once a motion or a question is put on the floor by the speaker, it is individual to vote. It is not a mass to vote. Individual votes. Then you take your vote according to your conscience. If you feel that the bill is good for the Kenyans, you vote where yes is. If you feel it is not, you vote where no is. And this is period.
Beyond the National Assembly, Honorable Nabi, we have seen that historically, most of the presidents that have managed their reign proper, did more or less the same thing. They invade and as well as neutralize the enemy or the opponent and get to their very own strongholds. They manage to bring those ones that are key supporters to their side so that they can manage this well.
Linda,
yeah.
First of all, I want to debunk something my senior Kakuya said as constitutionally misplaced and wrong legally. By the way, we are all in government.
Whether
that is the
majority.
constitution. There are three levels of government.
Yeah.
Please, we are all in government. So I think this.
It's only a minority.
Just a minute. Yes, we are all in. There's no opposition in the current constitution. There is only a minority and a majority.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to your question. I want you to reflect back to Kibaki.
Yeah.
Kibaki's second term. You really do not need to balkanize any party. If you are leading the country properly with the proper mechanism, you don't need to balkanize any party. You will just get your support. By the way, in public I've said, and I've been here, and I've demonstrated in the House, that any time a government has a policy pro-people, right? People will just vote for it. After all, every person elected in parliament wants a successful country, wants development for his people. I'm yet to see a member of parliament, whether in opposition or in government, who will refuse, for example, that government has a policy to pay fees for
his constituents.
For students. Then he will say, no, because I'm from a minority, I don't support. No. All we are saying, there is the reason Kenyans chose a multi-party system is because we had come from an era where there was the big man syndrome.
Yeah.
Okay? This constitution framework is meant to ensure that everybody has a say.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody is considered. I agree with Kakuya on one thing, that a president will want to have his way, okay, to implement his policy. But all we are saying, you can have your way by playing clean politics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you want to declare this one of the Right Honorable Raila, of the president, that is Dr. William Samoei Ruto, not clean?
Balkanizing the parties.
Is that something that will be considered unclean, or it's just in order? And I'm glad that he speaks to the
I think
Kibaki
Mheshimiwa Nabii should withdraw parochialization.
Okay.
Because parochialization is a bit hostile and rude. It's a bit hostile.
It is hostility to them as Azimio.
It's
they
hostile,
feel like
it's impolite, it's rude and misplaced. Because one, you know, as a politician, as a senator for the Rakadidi County, my resolve for now, for the efficiency and the delivery of services in my mother county, is to make sure that I bring everybody on board. Even for those people who are not campaigning for me, even for those people who are not even supporting me. Anybody who is willing to work with me, whether he voted for me or not, is most welcome. And you know, His Excellency the President stated that very categorically, that he is trying to embrace every Kenyan in this country.
And at the same time,
whether this person voted, whether this region voted for him or not.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we are all Kenyans and we are paying taxes. Right? We are paying taxes. Whether you are in where or which part of this country, we are paying taxes. And that is basically why the President is embracing everybody. Embracing is not balkanization. Right? And I told you again, Kenya is a democratic country where we have all the aspects of association, the aspect of assembly, the aspect of choice. You can choose what to do and what not to do. And for your information, I've been to quite a number of even our neighboring countries where we have non-democratic space. You cannot even speak anything against the president, even against the government. Recently I was in Ethiopia. They don't have even Facebook, right? Where you can post your things here and there independently the way you want. So let us accept the fact that for the first time in very many years, we have a president who is very embracing, who is very accommodative, who wants to bring everybody on board for the betterment of
the president acknowledges very well, and for lack of a better analogy, that he is not chocolate, he is not Father Christmas, and there's not a single time when everybody then will align to his way, his style of leadership, in as much as that is his interest. So do you clearly think it's for the interest of the people of Kenya,
it
or
is for
political
the interest of the
interest?
people of Kenya, because we want to bring everybody together so that we can move together.
But just how big is this, stakeholders government that it will incorporate everybody?
You know, Kenya government is a very broad.
Is it stakeholder or shareholder?
No. I don't want you to drive me into that corner.
Okay.
Of the shareholders, who has the shares and all these things. We are basically saying, as at now, we are people who do not even trust whether the president won. You have heard these things all over the streets and all these things. We are people who don't even have the trust with his presidency or even leadership, right? The same people, when there are people maybe from their relevant parties, go there to seek services from the people, they are expelled from the party. These are the same people who want to be appointed to the cabinet. These are the people who want to be appointed in parastatus. How do you get somebody who is a cabinet minister? I mean, you get somebody a job as a CS or maybe a parastatus chief who doesn't believe in your leadership. So basically, that's what we are saying. His Excellency, the President one time said, he is trying to equate this government with the way you would buy shares. There are people who overwhelmingly voted, and these people have all the trust with the leadership of the president. Why can these people get the appointment? If you don't believe in me, how do I get you into?
So how then do you entice the rest of the country to align to your vision?
You know,
the
problem is we have two tier systems here. We have the politicians and the local people. We have no problem. The local people have no problem all across the country. The problem is the political brokers. Yeah, they don't believe in the leadership of the executive of the president, and they still want some appointment, which is not possible. Yeah.
Okay.
We must have a very distinct line between the two.
Honorable Nabi, just what does the Azimio team intend to deliver for the people of Kenya with the demonstrations across the
country? They want to deliver demonstrations.
And the ultimate D-Day, which interestingly I learn, we have something of a similar nature that will be happening on the March 20th in South Africa, as well as, in Tunisia, as well as in Nairobi and Nigeria.
First, you very well know that I don't speak for Azimio.
Yes.
I don't have that mandate to speak for Azimio.
Yeah.
But from where I sit, what are the issues that we cannot close our eyes over? That the standard of living continues to skyrocket. By the way, Linda, turn to the last page of your newspaper, Nation. Just turn.
The Daily Nation.
Yes.
Yes.
What is the title up there?
Kenya Power conceals breakdown, and I'll assume that is the biggest story and not the
that is where the problem is.
Yeah.
We are moving to the situation where now, because the cost of power is going up, they have decided that the breakdown is not. They have to consider. They are going to give you a block figure. I mean, you move from a point of disclosure to a point of closure. Cost of living, right? I've made a point here, which I want Senator to understand, that any time the President of the Republic or a government of Kenya delivers something which, in my opinion, for the interest of my people, makes sense, I'll never oppose. And I'll give you one.
Yeah.
When the President directed that junior secondary goes to primary, it is something I had pronounced myself. And I supported him fully. And I had my own reasons. I said the president is thinking about his people. Because these are small kids. You can't take them to secondary school, they'll be bullied. I had all the issues around it. And
that seems not to be working anyway.
No, it will work.
Really?
NT things, I can tell you, on this one of JSS, you can't...
Stakeholders argue that maybe we should do away with
No. They're emotionalizing education.
Okay.
Even 844, you know, the beauty about me, I saw 844 come. I saw it. It had serious problems. For 2 years, there was nothing going on in 844. 2 years.
Yeah.
The system changed 14 times. This one we have done up to 9 years. You know, people think JSS is the only thing. You know, we have PPP1, PPP2, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, now 7. We are in the 9th year. So you can't say you will wake up one morning and waste 9 generations. There are teething problems, but as a country, we come together. Now, what I was saying is, I don't want to lose myself in 20th demonstration. For me, the concern of government should be, what are the issues that are being addressed? Cost of living, high rate of school fees, right?
Yeah.
Those are the issues.
The information of the Independent Electoral Boundaries.
Yes, those are the issues. The IBC, that we need a bipartisan approach because it is something that should unite people.
Contrary to what the law dictates, because the president categorically states that he has done this, you know, as enshrined.
Let me tell you, law or no law, at the end of the day, law serves people.
Yeah.
Law serves people.
You should.
And if law serves people, then listen to those people.
These very people are the same people who set up these laws.
No, the law was bulldozed. I was in the assembly.
Your times.
I was in the assembly.
Yes.
If I tell you what happened, I don't want even to go there.
Yeah.
Please, let's listen. Sometimes I say Kibaki was God sent to this country. As much as he spoke very little, when it meant listening, the man would listen. Yeah.
Honorable Member of Parliament, Embakasi North. The people of Azimio, or the leaders of Azimio, have valid points, so to speak. You might need to overlook the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission matter and many other matters, but the cost of living is key. And that has been witnessed by the few demonstrations that have cut across the country, that even in the absence of their very own key leaders, Kenyans would go out to the streets and remind you as government that something is amiss. Before it gets to their deadline, let us overlook the aspect of the deadline. What will you tell the people of Kenya in relation to the cost of living today? Away from the promises, which others would label empty, and others would believe that given extra time, there's something that is bound to happen.
Real, first and foremost, I want to be categorical, and I want to tell Kenyans that there is nothing but hypocritical. The whole saga of demonstrations are hypocritical.
But they come with
and I can tell you, if this is the new time that we are experiencing, Honorable Raila Odinga in this kind of saga, we could say otherwise. But we have in experience of the behavior of Honorable Raila Odinga after every election. Starting back to the NDP, and when after that particular election, then he was able to find a mix with the KANU regime, and when NDP was swallowed by KANU, but thereafter it came strongly from KANU, and it destroyed KANU. And KANU, to me, it's never survived again. His experience with Mwai Kibaki, and he joined Mwai Kibaki when he came from KANU and the team, and thereafter there was a big division during the oranges and bananas. And currently, the time we
are, times as well.
I can tell you, the work that it happened during 2017 after election, where Uhuru said for what we call handshake. There is nothing else that this old man is looking other than that. And I can tell you for sure, there have been no importance of Kenyans going to queue for an election if the crime after one cannot be able to concede and take the verdict of the people. When the people decide and there's a public will, that will should be honored by every competitor who was in the race.
Even when this person that has been picked is not doing things right?
No, what I can tell you, leader, you are not in the universe and you live here. And there is no miracle that the handshake was able to do. They left the price of unga at 230. They tried to mislead Kenyans that there is subsidy, which never worked because you never found a unga in any shelf of a supermarket at a cost of 100 shillings. So that was just a mockery. And to me, they left the unga at that level. Today, the unga is slowly getting to the normal, as now it is at 170 allowed there. I am telling you for sure, the plans that the country is taking is a plan that actually are going to work, because it is by removing that subsidy from where it was a mockery to where it is reality. That this particular subsidy with the farmer, there is a big promise. If the farmer can be able to increase the output of his production, the unga can be able to trickle down slowly. Because
we have a farmer here.
No, what if my question is, if Amira cannot be able to access a maize bag from 6,000 to a level of maybe 4,000, what a miracle do you expect him to change the cost of the 2 kilo bag, 2 kilo package from the level it is to a lower level? There is no miracle to that. It's only the maize cost which will give us the best price of the unga, and not short of that. And those are the mechanisms that the government is making to make sure that, in fact, the inputs are lower and the cost of production are lower, and therefore the output will be mass, and we will be able to triple the cost of that particular product down. And that way we can manage. But there is no way that you can pin Kenyans every single day at this particular level in time that you want the unga to be at 100. By what miracle? It can't. It's only politics. But the last question is, what do you want with the Kenyans if you want to tell Kenyans that they go mass, then you are looking for mass revolution? What about after that revolution?
What happens?
What are your vision to that?
Honorable Nabi, allow us to loop in Senator here so that he says he doesn't say we've locked him out. But I acknowledge the fact that you are a farmer and that this report speaks to the fact that subsidies fertilizer is too costly. Trans Nzoia farmers are telling the state, and they're actually calling on CS Mythical Inturi to inspect the fertilizer distribution exercise to get rid of brokers. Whether they're brokers or not, whether indeed there is a subsidy or not, is something that is debatable as it stands right now. But what
I would say, reader, that actually those with the element of brokers obviously are there, but I'm sure that in fact the government should sweep and make sure that.
Is it not what the president said, that when the Bible is down, I will root out all these brokers and cartels? Yes, Senator.
Let me assist my brother Gakuya. You know, we are addressing problems that have been entrenched in this country for the last 5 years. You know, we first of all brought BBI. BBI was brought. We sank almost like 200 million in that project. BBI and Reggae, you remember? You must have been here.
Yes.
Must have been here for all those years.
Yes.
That money was lost. Then we brought handshake. You can testify that we have, for the last few months, we have had a lot of issues.
It's just the other day that we're celebrating the 5-year.
Right? So the current government is addressing issues that have been entrenched in this country for the last 5 years or so. This government.
How much more are we always going to turn back?
Just can you hold on, my sister?
Yes.
This government is only 6 months old. A government which has found the country dilapidated, the treasury coppers were empty. You have just confessed that the control of budget confessed that people were looting money on their way out, billions of money. The lending rate was very high because we used to rely on borrowing.
Which we are still
the very first thing that His Excellency the President
We're
did,
raising the bar.
In fact, they have raised it now.
Just a minute. The very first thing that the President did when he came into power is to stop bleeding. Because you just find yourself in a hole, you continue digging, you sink further. So we have stopped that bleeding. So the whole idea is to make sure that we are domesticated. We have our own issues that we really want to do as a country to make sure that we have generated our own food, for that matter. And you can't tell me a problem that has been with us for the last 5 years or so can be solved within a span of 6 months.
How long can it be?
So we are putting mechanisms.
Yeah.
We are putting mechanisms, and I'm very sure Kenyans are watching. Kenyans are relatively very patient. So in the next 3 or in the next 1 year or so, the economy will have been stabilized.
Did this win get you by surprise?
Which win?
The win of the presidency? Or
why surprise? Why surprise? And we were supposed to win.
Because it looks like you are in that moment of surprise.
We contested. Why surprise? We contested. The whole idea was to win.
And that you did
from the one go.
You did not imagine that these troubles are going to be there while you were telling Kenyans
we were expecting challenges. We were expecting challenges, and that's what we are addressing.
But not of this magnitude?
No, there are no magnitude. We are addressing these issues, and we are top on that agenda.
Nabi.
As a country.
And Linda, before you go to Nabi, also take consideration that actually there are things that are unforeseen. Things like drought are things that have no measure. When the kind of drought strikes you to such a prolonged time, what do you expect to do? You must deal with the monster in the house, because actually people are more important than any other project within it. And therefore, I think things have been addressed, and as we start, still we are in that particular element of feeding those people who are suffering totally and starving out there.
I'd love to understand the long-term plans to make sure that such
the long-term plan is that let us agree one thing, that actually Kenyans are totally waiting to see our points of fixing things. One, in terms of forestry, where we need forest cover because of rain, it's a matter that actually we must plant trees, and the trees cannot grow within a month and mature. Number two, there is element of creating dams. Dams, you cannot sink dams within a day. You need time. Those are things that actually are a long time, which can maybe take 2 to 3, 4 months, for 4 years. But at least in short term, it is to deal with the Mukurima.
So 5 years later, then the president will come and tell
I can tell you for sure.
More time to finish.
I can tell you for sure. There is no single dam that you can expect to be sunk today and produce water within 5 months.
I wish you could penetrate.
Let's allow Honorable Nabi come in.
I just want to finish to clear some issues here and there.
Yes.
I wish you could penetrate into the policies that the government is putting in place.
And that's why we said on the subject
the government is very elaborate.
Politics and
the government is very elaborate on permanent and solutions to this country, because we cannot just keep on talking of drought here in here.
You cannot just keep reminding us that you inherited a government that is dilapidated, and that so Kenyans should allow you.
We cannot run away from that fact. That fact is there. That the coppers were empty.
All right.
Not even the coppers. Even
Linda.
Yes.
Even the coppers themselves were not there.
Linda.
Yes, Nabi.
It's sad.
I am told that I have to take a quick short break. Allow me to, so that I give you ample time. Yes, after this break.
Ladies and gentlemen, karibuni sana. This is Dr. Frank tonight. And of course, on to our first guest of the night. An amazing actress, an award-winning actress, one of the top influencers right now, a top brand ambassador, ladies and gentlemen, and a lady who I respect, and of course, I'm proud to call her my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, just listening, are you ready for something there?
Yes.
You ready, yeah?
Yes.
Give me something, yeah? Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Kate Kamau, a.k.a. Kate, actress. How much material
It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, I'm a lot.
Does it give like, is it like normal time to wear like 10 minutes?
Asha.
Ama like lazima uipangie.
Hii lazima shida ni kwenda kwa choo hiyo tu. Yeah.
But they come to think of it, madam you and madam of a jumpsuit. How do you guys go to the washroom? How do you guys deal with that whole thing?
That's why we go in pairs to the bathroom.
No, men, you'll never find men going to the washroom in pairs. Where Richie? Richie ni aje. Nasikia kusojo. Hebu tuishie. I think ladies are so privileged. You guys can even call each other boo, babe, sweetheart. Imagine now I'm now calling Richie. Richie babe, ni aje. Unakamjobosa ngapi na saxophone?
But we are okay with that.
Never.
Yeah.
Kate, welcome on the show. You are our first guest ever. Piga makofi. Ndio nyewetu mpya tuko na interior design round hii.
Ini Wajakoya ama
we check relax. Usiseme na nguvu we. Nakada wana watch, nakada.
Ni sponsored.
Let me ask, have you ever tried?
No, what is that? No.
Haujawahi? Under by mistake.
But now I know it because of Wajakoya.
Oh really? So hujaipita kwa campaign ya Wajakoya by mistake ukaisikia? Have you ever tried drugs at any point?
Which one?
You're a clean,
I'm a
good
role
girl.
model.
Role model. Sawa kwa me. Listen, do we have enough role models in the industry anymore? Or because I've seen...
In studio, Honorable Nabina Bwera, Member of Parliament of Lugari, and the Senator Tharaka-Nithi County, that is Honorable Mwenda Gataya, as well as the Member of Parliament in Bakassi North, Jimmy Gakuya. Back to you, Honorable Nabwera.
Yes. I want to make a number of facts. Starting with the issue that Honorable Gakuya and alluded to by Senator, that we need to give government time. Linda, we people who participate in elections as candidates, we give our own scorecard, which the public will use to charge us. The Kenya Kwanza government, led by President Ruto, William, gave us a scorecard. There are things they told us within 100 days. Right?
Right.
One of them was to bring the cost of living down. You know it. And I want to imagine they had applied their mind to what was ahead of them. They have not done it. Instead, we are even grappling with the issue of school fees increase in schools, right? We are grappling right now on the issue of food, fuel, which they promised us they will bring it down within 100 days. Today, there are how many days after 100? So many days. So when we ask, we are not being unreasonable. We are just using their own scorecard. What it appears to me is that Kenya Kwanza took over power without a plan for this country. And I want to demonstrate to my colleagues here. In 2002, the country was worse off than it is this time, when Kibaki took over. But he had a plan. Free primary education. Within 37 days, he had delivered free primary, which he had promised. The economy stabilized in less than 45 days because he knew what to do. And it is there for us to see. All we are saying, up to now, we are still blaming. My friend, a government is a perpetual entity. You cannot live in the past forever. It is like you married a girl who comes with 2 kids. And you keep on reminding her that, you know, the cost of food in this house is increasing because you came with your 2 children.
Yeah.
When you are picking that lady with the 2 kids, you knew, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. The third thing I want to mention here, Honorable Gakuya is not entirely right. There's no accident in drought, by the way. The cycle of drought in this world is known.
Yep.
We have a cycle. And it is documented in even our own systems. Even the environmentalists warned a year ago that going forward, we expect to drought in 2023, 2024.
The previous regimes are to blame for this?
My friend, you can't blame it. You are now in power. You sort out the problem. Once you take over reins of power, I took over constituency. It has its own challenges. I can't keep on saying they didn't build schools. I am there to sort out the problem.
Isn't the government doing that?
Let me tell you, a government must create hope. Please. It is from that hope that we believe in the government. It is in that belief that then we support the government. It is basic principle. Now, if you can't create hope, you remind us that there are problems. I mean, what do you want us to do? By reminding us, what do you want us to do? You are only killing the spirit of the Kenyan people. That's all I'm saying. I want to say this to my colleagues. Settle down and work. Stop blaming Uhuru. Stop blaming handshake. That's a story of another day. It's history. Kenyans want to see the cost of living go down. Kenyans want to see food on the table. Kenyans want to afford fees for their children. Kenyans want JSCC challenges to be sorted out. Period. Kenyans want to see the cost of fuel down. Period.
Period, Mheshimiwa. And the appointments are here. These are the individuals that are supposed to help the government or the president, establish and as well as, realize his manifesto, his policies, his plans. Those ones that were set then before you got to power, and those ones that are being crafted right now upon getting to power and realizing the nitty-gritty details of government. Are you satisfied with the individuals that are being picked for the different dockets to be the very same that are going to help us, the president realize, or to help the president realize this, starting from the level of the cabinet?
Thank you, Madam Leader. I think for the quite a number of, because I've been able to navigate through quite a bit about two governments now. If you look at the composition of the current cabinet, I think His Excellency the President has brought on board all regions in this country. We have the cabinet from our brothers.
Honorable Nabi is laughing sarcastically.
No, let him laugh.
Maybe
because he deserves to laugh, because I think it's very clear, even those very keen dockets, we have cabinet ministers have brought across the board. We have from the Nyanza region, from the Kisii region, we have the Coast region, we have the Central region, from Eastern region. I think everybody is on board, including those key positions. Look at the internal security. Who is the PS for internal security? It's a Raymond Moro, who comes from the area perceived to have not supported to have not supported exactly the president. Yeah, there are quite a number of other positions that are held by very senior people, even from those areas that are proposed to have not support the president. So I think, to me, I think the president is very accommodative, that he has been able to bring at least everyone on board in this aspect. Look at the parastatals. We have many people have been appointed across the board. All the tribes in this country. That's why we are saying we are trying to embrace every citizen in this country, not necessarily somebody who did not vote or who voted. Yes.
Mheshimiwa Nabi, why do you laugh sarcastically when you say there's been an incorporation?
Three critical things. First, he's within his right. They have stated very clearly that this is a company of shareholders. So to that extent, I don't hold I don't begrudge Kenya Kwanza. It's a government of two communities because they are the shareholders.
Two communities?
But is there a region left behind?
Just listen.
Which communities?
Just tell us. What are the
and I'm asking two communities.
In the region.
We have a committee
so, when you ask Bart Mheshimiwa, it's like you agree to the fact that it's a government.
Can you bring that committee?
We just want to hear. Because
yes, I will.
How do you say?
So which communities?
You're
protected. You are protected.
Can you allow me even to name people who are not even?
But I haven't even made my point.
Let's allow him to.
No, that is.
You know, you had your chance.
That is incitement.
You had your chance. Let's listen to him. prosecute.
I cannot
this,
present to
we get
somebody when he's lying to the public that it's a government of two communities.
We first want to ask him what
I have just told him Owalo, who holds the most key position in
and
this
Raymond and Kabundo
Raymond
and many others.
the American Owaro, they are there. Yeah, including the Prime Minister.
Including Mashogu.
Including Mashogu.
Okay,
including the Prime Minister.
Okay, let's not shout.
Yeah.
Can you allow me to make
including the
You're protected.
Can I prove you wrong?
Senator,
including the Speaker of the National
Senator,
your point.
Senator, you made your point. You had your chance, and you're almost stepping out. Let's allow him to.
I only want him to withdraw before.
No, I can't withdraw.
Because this is not a government of two tribes.
Within his rights, proceed. It's
No.
We want to know what tribe he's referring to.
Representation is the issue here.
Yeah.
Right? Proportional representation. You cannot tell me that Kenya of 50 million people, when two communities share 48% of positions, and you want to tell me is proportional representation. It's a shareholding. They are the majority shareholders. That's all I'm saying. And I've said I accept it because that's what they have perceived it to be.
Maybe yes,
but it's a wrong analogy.
All right.
It's a wrong analogy for the country of Kenya. It begrudges constitutionalism.
Mheshimiwa.
One thing is that, Rida, we need to go by the facts. And the facts are very clear that what the law stipulates is that all the regions has to be considered in terms of these appointments.
Have they been considered?
Of course, yes.
The appointments are continuing anyway.
Yes.
The latest.
Just starting from the level of the cabinet.
Yeah.
Yes, squarely, regions are well represented. And trickling down to the levels of PSs, still that element is well taken care of. And even, I'm sure that even the remaining, maybe the element of CAS and so on, things will still follow. And I can tell you for sure, leader, we cannot always be leading politics. It will always be leading politics. One, I can tell you for sure, probably in that proportional share, you may ready to say that probably Mount Kenya maybe have something slightly above than Nyaza. But that purely, yes, even it.
It's not
It's a fact,
It's major.
Even in terms of.
It's major. Two communities.
Allow me to prosecute my case. Even in terms of numbers, the numbers they still spoke. Well, of course, yes. So, and I can tell you for sure, I cannot find it any difference if today the government, it could be a similar. It could be the same case. And I can tell you for sure, let us not keep here try to demonize that in fact this is a government of two tribes, because we are seeing names totally of different regions all over having appointed.
Honorable Nabi speaks to the ratio, to the numbers.
No, that ratio I can tell you. One, there were their own arrangements during their own caucusing of their fraternity.
Okay.
And there was also arrangement of during the caucusing of the Kenya Kwanza fraternity. As much as those areas were to be considered, the constitutional mandates has to be also fulfilled. And this is done, of course.
Constitutionally, do you think we have gotten to the threshold? And Mheshimiwa, I know you want to exit the stage shortly. Do you suppose that constitutionally there's been a balance, or we are going to attain a proper balance in relation to...
You know, let us accept, Madam Leader, that as a country, if you look at the way His Excellency the President has done, as he distributed those positions, I think I am happy. And of course, we expect some more appointments. We have the ambassadors' portfolios coming. We have the parastatals coming. We have the CS coming. We have so many other things coming. So we expect those kind of distributions across the country.
Right.
So I don't want to agree with my brother that this is a country of two tribes, right? Even in the ratio, if you are a 5 and we are 2, you know, if you are 5, we get 2. If you are 2, you get 1. That's the kind of arrangement that we are talking about as a country. So when we get to 2 and we are 5, we are 2, you get 1. That's not saying that maybe we are trying to marginalize anybody. So let us be objective, my brother.
And if on merit, if these individuals, they are Kenyans before they are from...
Of course, and they have all the qualifications.
Linda,
yes.
I've been very clear.
You do not have...
I've been very clear in the past, and I want to repeat here. The president has some of the best brains and he has some fellas who are of questionable character. He has very good people. He has a very good minister in Kindiki. He has a very good minister in Murkomen. Sharp, Reza, they understand their staff.
Who vetted those ministers? I thought it's the National Assembly.
It is, yes, and he has no.
So
when
do you say,
let's allow for him
support of questionable characters? These people went
no,
through
the others we know.
The normal, they were vetted.
Yes, by the very same members of
yes,
Parliament.
and you were sitting that
yes.
And you voted, and you voted what?
Descended, eh?
You
By
descended.
the way, I descended.
Okay,
Yeah.
it has to be clear.
On several, I descended.
Yes.
And it was very clear. It is unanswered.
Mm-hmm.
It's unanswered. Yeah. So I was telling you that where the president has done well, Nabina Bwera will tell him he has done well. Yeah. In Kindiki, he did very well. In Murkomen, he did very well. But he dropped the bar.
By picking who and who?
Linduri. I've said this many times.
What is wrong with it?
What is the, yes?
He still has 48 cases in court.
No. Those cases don't border on criminality.
His cases.
Those book cases
and until declared guilty.
My friend, you know, I keep on telling you.
Linduri has never been in jail.
About Caesar's wife. I have told you, Linda, this one. It is about perceptive.
Do you have any
criteria.
personal issue with Linduri?
No, no. Why would I have personal?
Linduri is just, he doesn't have any issue to do with criminality.
But equally, Mheshimiwa has, the right to as well declare his position, and he says it's clear on Hansard that he dissented to some of these. And I think
Linduri currently is the best performing minister that we have. One of them.
What is it? We had the ratings just the other day, Mheshimiwa.
He's one of the best.
We had the ratings.
Look at the ratings. He's one of the best. Actually, Kindiki is top.
Who made the ratings?
Top at 27. Not half the mark.
No, but look at the division.
He didn't even get
top at 27. Followed by Owalo.
Yeah.
Not even 27. Not.
Terras who did
Owalo from where?
Who did this?
I know you want us to say that it's Angela Ambitho.
Where does Owalo come
again?
from? Where does Owalo come from, Brenda?
That really shouldn't be a matter.
I want you to answer him because he said that this government belongs to.
I've talked about the senator.
Proceed.
You are not getting my point.
Yes.
All the time, and senator, this is what you are executing even when you share revenue. Proportional. The word is proportional, my brother.
48%.
You have a shareholder majority. Shareholders.
If you consider this not to be right,
dividends.
for purposes of the people who elected you, you cannot afford to say that you do not begrudge them at all.
I will explain to them why. That the philosophy of Kenya Kwanza is exclusionist.
Then you're leaving your people to the dogs.
Nabi vetted these cabinet ministers. He actually passed them. He voted. Then he comes here and says these people have questionable characters.
I dissent.
But how do you tell your people that actually this is a government of exclusion? They are still benefiting.
Mheshimiwa, you'll be late for your appointment.
Yes.
I can tell you.
Can I leave?
Yes, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Your time. Yeah.
And
we are releasing the gentleman in the next 10 minutes as well. So asante sana.
So I hate to say hey to people of Tharaka-Nithi.
Please do.
And any other Kenyan who is watching me.
We do not know the people of Tharaka-Nithi to be Westerners who say jambo.
You have not invited me to come and see the development in Tharaka-Nithi.
How much is happening there?
I want to see how well you are doing.
After Kibaki, after Kumira, and then now today.
Now that
we are one of the best performing counties.
Tell them to
That's
watch
why
us.
saying,
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
right.
I'll be ambassador down there.
Please do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And when other time when we're free, I take you back to the Tharaka-Nithi.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Karibu sana once again. Asante sana. So Mheshimiwa, we disrupted your line. You want to adjust? Fine. We only have 10 minutes to close, and so here we are. You were making some submissions before.
Of course, yes. Reader, my position is there. One thing that actually the electorate all over the country will appreciate is that, in fact, we have a constitution which has allowed the distribution or what we call the sharing of the cake. The formulas are done. And no single sector or section of this country which is left aside. So
we can remind you that gender, you're doing so well, but then
there is no an element of sharing of cake exclusion is not in there. Because if it's a matter to do with what is meant to all counties all counties get their disbursement well as per the aid mechanisms.
You know, there's a problem.
Number two, let me finish.
Yes.
If it is the member of parliament who at least has a kitty within his constituency, which also takes care of NGCDF, if I am getting already, I'm getting 45 million in my kitty, I am sure the people he represents has also gained that. There could be an exclusion where his constituency is getting nil and my constituency is getting plus. That is only where we can say we are discriminating Kenyans. Therefore, I would say, in terms of service, it is equal across board all over. So as we demonize other things, let us not spoil Kenyans that actually there are areas that are excluded.
Statistically speaking, you agree that we are yet to get to that threshold of the Constitution as you declare right here. And I think he started by mentioning figures as to the same. So
one is that in fact the issue to do with appointments. Actually, what the Constitution stipulates is well achieved.
Is it well achieved just yet? We're not even done with the appointments.
I can tell you, it's well achieved. And I can tell you, going down, we are going to just wait and see. Because I'm sure the president actually is a man who just does respect the Constitution. And I am sure that, in fact, that he has to fulfill all that the Constitution stipulates. This is in areas of those appointments, areas of ambassadorials, areas of CASs, and other appointments that are coming to come.
So we can agree you have not yet reached that level.
And let us agree one.
You're on course.
He has just ruled it that actually it is proportional. Therefore, don't expect those who are
he did not say it is proportional.
No, of course. Even
he did not say
even sharing of the case is proportional. You find that there's areas like Turkana whose earns more than Garissa. It's not. We cannot say it is equal. It's not proportional, and that is how we should allow that.
I think I'm very happy that Kakuya sees my point. We are not talking about equal. We are talking about equity. Please, Kakuya, my brother, it's a question of equity.
Because equal we might not attain.
Yeah. You know, this thing about appointments, sometimes I don't like Linda going public about it because very emotional. It's very emotional.
Yeah.
If we were to consider equity, then we'd be asking ourselves one big question. Take, for example, my Luo community. What is their number? And look at the Somali community. How many PSS do the Somali have? How many BSS do the Luo have? So it's a question. That's why I don't want us to go there. It's a question of equity. The second thing I want to say, listening to Kakuya and Senator was just left, I get the feeling that the people working with the president they're really letting him down. He seems to be up there with his own ideas to implement, but the people working with him have their own ideas to implement. No wonder it's not.
But they acknowledge that the reason why he's picking this individual is because they believed.
It is not working. That's what I'm saying.
So who is...
That's why...
Can you tell us
Kakuya, I'll tell you one.
Tell us where the disconnect is.
The disconnect is, well, as you are proponent that the president is driving to ensure there is equity, his deputy has clearly said Kenya is a shareholding. Clearly.
And he states his reasons.
Yes, and he says,
valid. But he has...
So that's a disconnect.
As an individual, he has his own right.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying.
It contradicts what the president says, that I am a president for everything.
Yeah, and he's a principal deputy.
Yeah.
Principal deputy. Secondly, look at... You've just spoken to something here. You've read about fertilizer. I come from the maize growing area, and I'm a farmer myself.
What is not working? Tell us what is not working.
You've seen the
so that we correct what is not working.
You've seen the problem there.
Yes.
That the fertilizer is not reaching the farmer at the cost it was intended to. Because the sharks, the political sharks and the brokers have been allowed to take over fertilizer. It's not even me speaking. You've seen it there. But that's the reality. But the stores in Karen, the stores in Turbo, the stores in Malaba, they have no fertilizer.
Mheshimiwa.
So are you sure, is this the correct position on the ground? Or
that's what I'm saying.
This is the correct position
what
on
have
the ground.
The people, Lynn, what did I say?
No, because
the people working with the president.
To establish that is for them.
It is them.
Is for
so really,
to try and establish
you are running.
That. Because I believe
I
believe Rinda.
Yes.
Because we are not working for the failure of this government. Because surely, we are no matter whether we are elected from different parties. The aim is to make sure that the country grows, because when the country grows, that robust helps all of us. And
that we are in agreement.
And therefore, I think it's a duty for every member to make sure that the policies that are being put in place by the government are followed to the letter. If there is a laxity somewhere, we should know that where is this, and therefore we can, somebody can take responsibility. Who is a failure on that particular area? Because for sure, this is an area where it has been well thought, and this element of cartels a route has been taken and an action has been taken. Then hearing from the member that actually it has reformed back, then tells me that something wrong has still occurred. And therefore it tells us we have to think, and we have to tax the Minister for Agriculture. Because actually this is an area which has totally have taken and fixed, and making sure that in fact all these areas that actually are stores for this fertilizer have received their bulk of fertilizer, and the farmers are enjoying, because there was a procedure. I don't know why it's not working. And that question, I'm meeting the CS this morning, and I will ask that.
Linturi.
Yes,
All right. Well, I hope the next time that you are here, you come with a report.
Yeah.
As we close, maybe yes or no. You say that Kindiki Kithure is one of the best brains for this president. The banditry menace is a plus.
In
the way
terms,
he's handling it.
Let me tell you, Kindiki means well. Kindiki understands the problem. Unfortunately, for this banditry, it seems not to be working.
Is it?
When I listened to him on Sunday, I felt very, very bad.
Because he tells people to...
no, because he said that for 27 days, 27, you know, people had died in Marakwet. You saw the MP, Troy Teach, my friend, give a statement last week. Ngenyelel also gave a statement last week of how their people had been murdered by bandits. Now, on Sunday, Kindiki takes to speak to the country, and he says, listen, for 27 days we have been gathering intelligence, and we know, and that's where my problem now comes, who are funding, who are giving information, who are accomplices. My problem is, then, why haven't you...
then what?
Yes. Why haven't you arrested these people? And I said it from day one, that the biggest problem in this banditry thing is that these bandits are owned. And we know the people own them. Now he owned it up and said, so the question is, why are they not being arrested? Because get Kakuya, if it's Kakuya who is causing these problems, once you get Kakuya, you have cut the link.
So then there's something they're not telling us. Story for another day. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you very much, Rida. I would also support the sentiments of the member that, in fact, we need to at least deal with the bandits on a new fashion. Should not be the normal way. And I think that, in fact, once you cut the link of their masters, then I am sure that you have killed the system and the network. So the dragnet is, first of all, dealing with the godfathers, and then trickle down.
And especially when you know the godfathers.
They must have been known.
Okay.
He said it himself, you know.
Yes. It's interesting time.
And if they are known and they are Kenyans, they rule them ruthlessly.
Okay. Thank you so much, Honorable